Hey, welcome to today's video. Today's a drawing lesson, easy. I'm gonna walk you through it. It's gonna be a blast. It's really a cute design. This is practice. This is how we learn how to draw, one shape at a time, one mark at a time. So today's subject, it's in my little green watercolor book, is a little garden scene. So lots of little garden icons. 'Tis the season and all. And I'm not a gardener, but I like to draw one. And so I'm going to walk you through how to draw the objects first, and then we're just going to paint them. They're going to be really cute. Oh, and if I haven't mentioned it, I'm Ronnie Walter. I am the creator of the Sketchbook method of learning how to draw and taking your doodles from wherever you are now to wherever you want to go. And so I hope you enjoy this video. I hope it gives you a few tips on how to observe things, how to break out shapes, and how to make cute art, because that's what we do here. We make cute art. So thanks again, and enjoy the video. Okay, we are taking a little trip to the garden today. Now, as you know, I like to tell people who want to learn how to draw that once we realize that everything that we draw is a shape, it makes things way easier. So let's just review. We basically have four shapes, five, well, I'll show you. The four shapes are basically, and it's just a piece of paper. This is just a, copy paper and a pencil, anything you got. So we have four shapes. We have a square, we have a triangle, we have a circle, and we have a rectangle, and that has a specific use. And then the fifth shape is what is an amorphous shape. So it could be a cloud, it could be a flower. So we have some shapes that are just basically blobs, and that's the fifth shape. Okay, so a square turns into a cube. A triangle turns into a cone. A circle, that's my favorite, becomes a sphere. All I have to do is put a shadow under it, and voila, you have a sphere. And then the rectangle becomes a cylinder. Okay? That's all you need to know. Almost everything is some version of this. Big, small, it has to do with scale and how you put these things together. But that's basically our four ways of looking at shapes. And if you look at objects around your house, you can go, oh, I see. That's a cylinder. That's a carved out cylinder. Maybe your coffee cup is a carved out cylinder and looks like that. And it just has a little arc on it. Sometimes a circle, the circle becomes, if it's a squished circle, it becomes an oval. And look, we just drew a potato. I just wanted to draw a potato today. So there you go. So you can see how everything is a shape. You just have to identify it and really observe when you're looking at things that you want to draw. Okay, so today I'm going to draw some things in the garden, and I'm going to just draw them on here so you can see the shapes. And then we're going to do them in a slightly more organized fashion in a watercolor sketchbook. When I teach my Sketchbook classes, we do a couple of different things. One is we use these shapes to make things. We also mimic shapes and draw them on our own. Once you mimic it, then you can usually repeat it, because I believe that once we draw a shape, it's imprinted in our brain somewhere. I don't know. I went to art school, but somewhere in your brain is that image. You already drew it, so you can draw it again. In this case, I'm going to draw things, and then I'm going to mimic them in my book, and I'll already kind of know how to do that. Now, obviously, I know how to draw. And maybe you are early on this journey of drawing, but this will be super helpful for you. Just mimic the things that I'm doing, and each time you mimic that thing, that is my whole Sketchbook philosophy. Once you mimic that, you are starting that encyclopedia in your brain. Okay, let's draw, because you're sick of watching my hands move around. Let's take really basic things that are in the garden, or things that we use in the garden. So let's take a garden glove, for instance. So if you look at a garden glove or your hand, basically your palm of your hand is a rectangle. If you break that down, that is a rectangle. And from that rectangle are 4 sort of hot dog shapes, which are, when you think about it, a circle that is squished. It is a very squished circle. You cut it off, here's your finger. And then the thumb comes off the side. So if we're gonna make this a garden glove, we add a rectangle to the bottom, and all of a sudden you have a garden glove, and then you make it cute by adding pattern and things like that. Okay? So you just drew a garden glove. Then you draw it the opposite way if you want 2 of them together. Let's draw a trowel. A trowel, if you're going to do it sort of 3-dimensionally, is a cylinder, a really long cylinder. It might have some sort of hanger dealy on it. And then the fork is really a rectangle with tines cut out. I guess, is that a trowel? No, that's like a fork. Let's draw a trowel. So if we do that rectangle again, I should probably mention, I'm not a gardener. I love gardens. I love drawing gardens, but I've never gotten a gardening gene. I don't know. It seemed like everybody I knew at some point in their life, it kind of dovetailed with turning 40. Everybody started gardening. I didn't. I just, as I tell my husband, I just consult on these things. And basically, so if you're looking at a trowel, it's a triangle. It's sort of a rounded triangle. So there you go. Rectangle, cylinder, triangle. It's observation. So what if we want to draw like a coiled up hose? So that's a circle. We looked at it like sitting on the ground, looking down on it. And then we have, say, and this comes off the top. I mean, you kind of have to work this a little bit. So anyway, let's take that part off. And if this is the little nozzle, I guess it would be, and say this is all coiled up, so you'd start to, most hoses have some sort of, pattern on them, texture, whatever's making them do their thing. So you come all the way around, and if you paint this green, you go, oh, that's a hose. And then maybe you have the other part, the part that hooks on to the faucet over here. So there you go. It's basically a circle. Sometimes there's bees in the garden. So you get your squished circle. And you just drew a bee. I mean, everything we do here at Sketch Cute with Ronnie is, it's very whimsical. I'm not looking for huge, super realism, but it's whimsical and it's fun and it's lighthearted. Okay, let's do a watering can. So a watering can is basically a square that's been cut off. If I brought that all the way around, it would be a square. We're going to cut that off. And again, observation. The spout, that's a triangle. Again, this is the handle. And then you have, really, if you took that apart, that would be a circle that you cut out. And then we have this part becomes a watering can. Do you see where I'm going here? It's all shapes. Let's say we want to put a stack of pots. So we have basically a square cut off with a rectangle on top. There's a flower pot. Then you start thinking about, okay, then that one goes that way, another rectangle. And another rectangle. So you can start to see how things really get broken down really simply. Now let's use an amorphous shape. So say you're going to buy a tree and it comes in one of those sacks. I don't know, what are they called? But these are amorphous shapes. And then the tree is coming out, whatever that tree looks like, a little sapling, I guess they are. And there you go. You have, so it's just a blob. They're blobs. It's actually, okay, look at this. I blobbed it out, but it's really a triangle. There's a triangle in there. There's a triangle here. And we just cut things out that weren't there. Okay. Did you get the point here? It's really fun. So let's draw a little garden shed. So we have a triangle and a rectangle. We have a square, and then we're just going to join this up. This is basically, well, that's a trapezoid. I remember some things from geometry, not a lot, but it's basically that. And then so we're going to draw an arc, which is half of a squished circle. And we'll just put a cute little window, rectangles, squares, and then maybe there's a little window in here. And then you just make it cute. Maybe you add little scallops to it. You kind of get the basics down and then you add the cuteness. That's the whole premise here. So let's now transfer this into drawing freehand. I've drawn these things. I now have imprinted. Now I'm going to use this as reference when I draw, but you'll see how this starts to come together into a really cute little design. Here we go. I have this watercolor sketchbook that was, full disclosure, was sent to me by this company called Light Wish. Very nice. And I've decided to use this sketchbook in particular just for single imagery designs. I have videos on each of these so far. I'm only on my 3rd page. This kind of breaks the pattern. I was like, okay, this sketchbook is going to be dedicated only to single objects that I do in different ways. Well, I've just now broken the pattern by saying I'm going to do all gardening things on here. So that's kind of the same. That's kind of the same. I'm taking a subject and I'm going to draw as many things around that subject as I can. And this is a great, great exercise. And feel free to brainstorm. If you go, okay, what's in the garden? Like, oh, I can't think of anything. Well, make a list. Write it down on a piece of paper and think of all the things that are in your garden or that you love and just start to draw. Just start to draw those things once you get a list. It's great to work off a list. I'm a huge fan of working off a list. We're going to start with line work on here, and then we're going to throw some watercolor in, and it'll be super fun. Feel free to follow along. There is no tracing for this because I want you to feel like we're drawing now. This is a video about drawing. We're going to make it cute. It doesn't have a purpose, but you could certainly make this into a card. You could make this, once you know how to draw these things, it's so fun to do just a little imaginary still life. It's awesome. Let's put some line work on this paper. Okay, and by the way, this sketchbook is about 7.5 by 7.5 inches. And it does have a perf here if I wanted to cut these pages out, but I don't want to. I really like a bound sketchbook because it forces me to live with what I've done. Instead of with a spiral notebook or sketchbook, you're often, oh, it's horrible, I'm going to tear it out. You could do that, but why? Sketchbooks are for growth and for understanding. They're our playtime here, so don't worry about that. So I am going to have my sketch handy just to remember what I did, but I'm just going to start drawing freehand because I'm brave like that, and so are you. Okay, let's get going. I'm going to start with that garden shed, and I'm just going to make these lines loose and free. I'm drawing a little bit bigger than I did on my original piece of paper. By the way, the marker I'm using has become my new favorite. It's called the Micron PN. We use these Micron markers all the time because they're waterproof and they're super great. This is a new version for me. I'm sure it's been around a while. I just never heard about it. And PN stands for a plastic nib. So it's got a really nice hard nib on it, which I'm starting to like a lot. Sometimes the regular Microns, they have more of a felt tip, and they can get, depending on how you use it, they can get kind of an edge to them, like a chisel edge. So they eventually just get a little funky. So I'm just remembering the shapes that I drew, and we'll make this a little bit fancy. This is when you get to put all the fun stuff in. Once you've gotten the basics down, You get that basic thing down, and then you can start making it cute. Because who doesn't love to make things cute? So we'll just put little windows there. And we'll put a little window here. I guess the windows are kind of high and shed, so people don't necessarily look in and go, oh, look, I'd like to steal that mower. Not that that happens, but it might. And just for fun, let's add some little windows here. You'll see what I just did there. Whenever I want something in a line that's going to be even, I start in the middle and work my way out. So if that, you know, that's just the way I do it. And then let's just add some little vents or something over here. Okay? Look, we have a really cute little garden shed. That's cute. And so let's, because it's in the garden, let's add, you know how we're always stashing things. Let's just add a pile of pots over there. And what else would we do? Oh, let's add, okay, so I'm just gonna add like a rake leaning up against it. Okay, well, I think that's really cute. Anything else we might do? Let's put some shingles on there. I know on the other one I put a scallop on the end of the roof, but I didn't on this one, so I'm just adding a scallop. Because when I paint this, it's going to be super cute. It's going to be every girl's dream of a backyard shed. There was that trend there for a while with the she shed, which I still love the idea of, but I want one with a bathroom. Because there's all that tea drinking and coffee. I want a bathroom nearby. And so then it's like a house. So no, I'm not getting one. Okay, so let's do those gloves, because I think gloves are going to have a really fun opportunity to, let's see, is that going to work? A fun opportunity to have some pattern. 3, 4. Yeah, and garden gloves, they're a little sloppy, so let's make them a little blobbier. Yeah, that came out pretty cute. Now I'm going to try to draw another one that looks just like it, because we, you know, they come in pairs. So let's see if I can do that. I already kind of screwed up because I wanted to have it flopped. I didn't do that. So we'll just make them as if they are just sitting next to each other. Sometimes it's hard to make things look the same. Yeah, see, my thumb got a little weird, but that's all right. And then when I come in with paint, I'll make those super cute. Yeah, they did not come out the same. I don't care. Okay, what else did we do? Okay, we did that hose. So this is going to be a little bit funky. That's that. Is this going to work? Let's start with this, and then I can see if I'm doing it right. You're probably watching going, that's not going to work out, Ronnie. Oh, it will. Somehow it always does. And if it doesn't, because, okay, when my sort of daily sketchbook, I only use a marker in it. I don't start with pencil. Okay, so now we're still going around. This is helping my brain go, how does this thing work? Yep. And here's what we're going to do on this one. I'm going to go like that. And then just to make this cuter, I'm going to make this come all the way down. And then add that little section for where it connects to the faucet. The spigot. What's the difference between a faucet and a spigot? I don't know. Do I care? I do not care. Okay, that's pretty cute. That's pretty cute. Then when you paint that, It'll be green and it'll be just darling. Okay, let's do those pots. So I'm going to start with that rectangle and the funny square. There, that's pretty cute. Let's do a whole big stack of them now that we're on a roll. And this is where, you know, I drew that once. You will draw it multiple times. Let's make this one go kind of wonky. And you just keep building on your skills. Once you draw a bunch of these, you get really good at drawing that thing. You never have to relearn how that thing works. Cute. Okay, let's draw the sapling. So I add that little tie. I don't know why I'm starting with that, but I am. And then say it comes around. So I'm drawing just a blobby triangle. Remember, everything's a shape. And we're going to come in and put that top on. And then let's just have a little, some sort of tree-like thing. And it is spring where I live right now as I record this. And it's, oh, some of the blossoms are so incredible. Really pretty. Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm a little disappointed in my glove, but that's fine. Okay, let's do these tools, but I'm going to flip them. So here is, I'm going to do the trowel first. And then let's do the fork over here. Again, just little rectangles. That's basically a rectangle. And then we're going to come in with that fork. Just kind of has, this whole thing just feels sort of rustic and easy and fun. What else do we do? Let's do the watering can. And then the watering can has a lot of opportunity. So I'm just going to just zhuzh it up just slightly. So I added a little rim to the top, but I already know my shape. And then I'm going to add a little rim to the bottom. There's the triangle spout and the handle. And use reference. You know, there are many different kinds of these things that different gardeners may have, and some people are going to buy things at the discount store, and some are going to buy at a high-end store, and they're going to be fancy or not, or made of copper or plastic, but they all do the job of watering the garden. So some are just more interesting in their shapes. All right, we just decorated that a little bit. Very cute. Let's put that bee up there. Bees are very important to the garden, I hear. He's pretty funny looking. And I think I'm going to, just for fun, I'm going to draw that with a couple of potatoes over here. And again, they're sort of an amorphous, squished circle. When we paint those, it'll be really funny. I'm just going to have some potatoes. There, we got potatoes. All right, what else would we have in the garden? Because I have a big space over there. Oh, you know what would be fun? Okay, now, let's see if we can do this. So, if I make a cylinder, come down and cut it off and add a squished circle, we have a boot. Hey, that came out pretty cute. And then we'll draw a second one. We can make it look the same. Oops. And got kind of caught on the edge. That's why I don't worry about my line work being perfect, because if I was trying to make like a solid like cartoon type line, it would be super frustrating. If I wanted that kind of look, I would pencil everything in and then go over very precisely, but I'm drawing freely on purpose. And then when we paint these, that's a great opportunity to make some pattern and some cute color. Because sometimes things that you draw, like if you just did garden stuff, it would be a lot of green. So it's really kind of fun to have some opportunity for color when you're doing kind of a single story. Okay, those came out really cute. I like that. And then let's do a pot. With like a little, I don't know, sapling. I don't know what that is. What do you call those when you're just starting to grow things? I can't remember. You'll tell me. Okay. I mean, seriously, you guys, I'm just really bad at gardening. I know things, but sometimes I can't come up with the words. Okay, the other thing we like in our gardens are butterflies. So we'll just add a really simple butterfly. And you can see by keeping to one theme, we're really coming up with a really, really sweet little design. I mean, this is just for my own pleasure. This is just for learning and fun. But it's a great way to continue to draw, making things really basic, remembering your shapes. And I'm just going to add some little flowers that mean nothing. I don't paint a lot of real flowers. Might as well do a little grouping of these. Fill this space a little bit, and then also, so let's just say, I don't know what these are going to be. But it's really fun to do things that are similar, but, you know, like I've made 3 different kinds of things here. I don't know what kind of plants those are, but nor do you, because I just made them up. Maybe just another little posy type flower. I think this came out really cute. Let's do another, let's see, what kind of flower can I do that is different than what I just did? Let's put some smaller things here. And we kind of like this loose and free look here. We're not going for precision. We're going for sweetness and fun. Okay, I think I don't want to muck it up too much. I like this. Okay, I'm going to start painting. And then if I have some thoughts, I'll come back in with my marker and draw some more things. But let's paint. The paints that I'm using are, again, these were sent to me. It's by the same company. These are called Mei Lang, and they're really nice paints. They're watercolor, obviously. And they come in this very cute tin. There's 24 colors. There's a lovely range. They're great for what I do, for a lot of our really cute, whimsical artwork that we do here, and we're just going to paint. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to paint, just freely paint, and I'm going to speed up the film slightly. Whatever you do in your book, you don't have to mimic mine, and just enjoy the process of painting, as I am going to do. I'll put on some pretty music, and then you can just watch me paint. There's no huge science to this. There's no huge lesson. We use pleasing color. We enjoy the marks that we make. We feel confident in the marks that we make. And if they don't look great, oh well, this is our sketchbook. It's okay. I'm using a number 10 round brush. This is the Winsor Newton Cotman, which is my go-to brush right now, and I keep meaning to kind of fix the tip of that, but I haven't yet. That's all I'm going to paint with. The first thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to move this out of the way and activate my paints. Clearly, I have paint in the wells from previous painting, so I'll start with those and then I'll clean them out as I go. Okay, let's paint. I think it's going to add a really nice little addition to this watercolor sketchbook that I'm working on, and I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoy just simply drawing for the pleasure of drawing. That's, to me, like the best thing in the world, is to just draw for pleasure. So I hope this was fun for you. I hope you learned something. I love your comments. Feel free to reach out, and thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.